Well, it's finally summertime. Well, whatever summer there is. But summer is finally here, and as you know, I have a little tradition I do every summer on my channel. This review of the summer of reviews of whatever. It's 2020, not gonna stop it. So welcome everybody to the review of the summer, whatever you wanna call this little series I do in the summertime. And what a way to kick off the summer, even though we are living in some weird times and some very strange times, it isn't gonna stop everybody from having some pool parties, having a good time. And today I'm gonna take a look at a product that is probably one of the best Bluetooth speakers you could buy, not only for 2020, but the best Bluetooth speaker for the summer of 2020. I am of course talking about the Soundcore Flare 2. I will tell you everything you need to know and whether I recommend you pick this up or not. So, if you wanna know, stay tuned. What's happening, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to another special edition episode of Technoid, and welcome to
the Summer of Reviews 2020!
Yeah, I need help. Anyway, welcome everybody to the Summer of Reviews. It's a little mini-series I like to do wherever I take products and review them in the summer. I hope you all have an excellent day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on my annual thing that I do. Now listen guys, to new subscribers and to new people joining on for the first time, I am actually a tech show host that hosts a show called Technoid. I talk about the latest news and rumors, but once in a while I branch off, do reviews, talk about MMA. So if you like the content, you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you do not miss an episode. Now, let's get down to business. Today's episode, I'm going to take a look at the Soundcore Flare 2. Now, at the recording of this video, the Soundcore Flare 2 retails for $80. Now, with all my videos, I get a disclaimer out of the way, and then I'll break down this entire video for you. Couple of disclaimers. Number one, this review is not sponsored by anybody. I paid for these speakers myself. I was a little bit low on funds. I did try to reach out to Soundcore, see if they could help me out. They did not respond to me. No animosity there though. I do want to, however, shout out two YouTubers, Front Pata Host and Show and Tech. I want to thank you two for really trying to help me get a hold of somebody from Soundcore. Even Anchor, so just thank you for trying to help me. I really do appreciate it, and you guys deserve a lot of respect, so thank you guys for trying to help me out. Now, disclaimer number two, everything that I say in this review is all 100% opinion based. I'm going to try to break this down the best that I can, and also give you the facts without boring you. And number three, I just want you guys to enjoy the video. So, without further ado, let's get it going. So, the Soundcore Flare 2. It has pretty much been confirmed that Soundcore is wanting to dip their hats into pretty much everything. From wireless headphones to wireless earphones, now to Bluetooth speakers. Now Soundcore has done Bluetooth speakers for Anker. This is kind of their newest version of what they like to call the Flare lineup. So you have the Flare Mini, the Flare Plus, and now you have the Flare 2. Now the Soundcore Flare 2 is a very interesting Bluetooth speaker because while it's not considered a budget-end Bluetooth speaker, it is still considered by many to be a budget-end Bluetooth speaker. But honestly, after using this thing for almost about a month and actually breaking this thing in, I gotta say guys, like this speaker, it should not be classified as a budget speaker, and I will explain everything you need to know. So, let's take a look at the unboxing. Now, with all my videos, I do an unboxing. So, we're gonna do this quick. Take a look at the unboxing. Inside, you get your little booklets with USB-C and your papers. Nothing typical there. Inside, you get the speaker wrapped in a protective housing, and the speaker itself is actually pretty decently sized. I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger, but this honestly is a perfect frame for the speaker itself. Take a look at the actual speaker itself. This thing actually is really clean. Now, on the top here, you have your command prompts, you have your power on button, your play and pause media, volume controls. You also have a light indicator where you can change the light color. You can basically change it to your preference. I'll explain how you do so also with the app. Around the back of the speaker, you have your Bluetooth pairing button, also PartyCast, which I will also explain. You have your bass up technology, which helps to amplify the bass. And also in the back of this little hinge, you have USB Type-C. This has a 12-hour battery life rated. If you turn the lights off, it'll give you an extra few hours depending on how you use the volume. But considering the light feature is the main art of the show, you're going to want to keep that on, especially for show. Now the whole speaker itself is wrapped in a nice mesh material. The mesh actually feels very premium and actually feels very rugged. So not only is this thing built to last, but it is certified, because not only is this thing built really well, but it's certified perfectly. It has IPX7 rating. So you can literally submerge this thing into a pool, fully submerge it, and it will be fine. You don't have to worry about shocks or anything. IPX7, that is a major positive. Now, let's talk about the speaker internals. So inside of the speakers, you have a 20-watt driver and dual passive bass radiators. The bass is lined up with the rubber to keep the speaker from moving. So basically, it allows you to feel the bass if you put it on a surface, but I will explain a little bit about that as we go along in the review. Now, the speaker itself is prompting 360-degree sound, so you can hear it from everywhere. And in my testing, I found there were no weak spots on the speaker. I went around the whole thing, I tried to grab as much, and to my surprise, there was no weak spot. They're like, usually in a Bluetooth speaker, you have a piece that's either blocked off or just doesn't give you the full 360 degrees. This thing did a good job, so shout out to that. That is true to its word, 360 degrees. Now let's talk the light feature, which is really one of the main selling points, that this thing gives you a light feature. It gives you 2 arrays. Now, the original Flare had a light indicator at the bottom. A lot of people said that's cool, but you don't really get the feel. Well, the good news is they've also added the ring on the top. It does eat away a little bit at the battery, but again, you could turn the lights off if you don't want them on. But they give you a nice array of colors, and it's in sync with the beat of your music. And I really like the light feature. I like the rainbow immersive colors. I like the spinning wheel. I love everything about it. It's so cool. Like, this thing actually is a fun speaker. The key word is fun, because it's really nice. The speaker itself also, because it's dual beat and driven with the light rings, you can customize this by also accessing the app. Now again, with all Soundcore products, you're gonna have to use the app, but when you use the app, it gives you a lot more. Now, in terms of what the app gives you, you can change the lights, you can also customize, put whatever colors you'd like, you can also change the volume, play and pause, update the firmware, and you can learn how to use some of its features. Now, my first negative of the video is the app is really a little bit limited in terms of EQ and also maybe some light features. I just wish they could have added a little bit more to make it a little bit more customizable. The EQ set by default are not terrible, but they could have been a lot better for me anyway. I feel that the normal default browser for EQ is perfectly fine, but I wish they had expanded it like they did with their Masters EQ for the Liberty Air 2 and the Liberty 2 Pros. Now, I've done enough talking. When do you want to hear the sound test? Well, judging by the timing of this video, you probably want to get to it. So I'll explain a little bit things after, but let's get to the sound test. Now, the sound test is actually a very special part because this part of the video is brought to you by Sirol. Now, if you guys don't know who Sirol is, I'm going to explain it real fast. Sirol is an up-and-coming artist who I've been listening to for a solid year. He was very kind enough to provide me the music for this. I really want to shout out Sirol. He is a great dude, great artist, and I really want to thank you for letting me use your music for the sound test. He just released a new track, so I'm going to sample some of his most popular music, and you let me know what you think. And if you want to check out Sirol for yourself, I will leave a link to his Spotify and Apple Music down below. So, here's the audio sample for the Soundcore Flare 2.
Non sogno le guai, sogno di uscire dai guai. Metto i pezzi nel solai perché la mia roba è so high. Sì, ma sono stanco, ormai non dormo più. A letto coi vestiti addosso per scendere giù. Chiamano me. La vita era più bella quando a fianco c'eri te. E ora sono solo mentre guardo il soffitto. In fondo è colpa mia perché non so stare zitto. Non ci cado mai, ci vivo nel vuoto. Non cercarmi, voglio stare da solo. Prima che io possa prendere il volo, diventerò acqua per spegnere. Mi hai portato così in alto che non so più come scendere. La chiudo tra le nuvole ma non so come accendere. Baby, tu sei la mia trap girl, trap girl, trap girl, trap girl. Baby, tu sei la mia trap girl, trap girl, trap girl, trap girl. Baby, in fondo ci ci penso io a qualche anno fa, quando a mezzanotte ti incontravo al club. Eri con le amiche ma in fondo eri sola, andavi via presto perché c'era scuola.
So taking a look at the sound signature, this thing really did surprise me. Now, paying $80, I didn't expect it to sound anywhere near as JBL or anything like that. But guys, I have to be upfront and up and personal with you guys. Not like that personal, but just gotta be personal. This thing sounds incredible. For $80, I'm surprised they were able to make it sound that good. The bass is nice. Now, I'm gonna explain a couple things here before I go any further. The bass up technology is on by default when you use it. The bass up technology actually makes it sound a lot better. So instead of it sounding flat and dull, unless you don't want too much emphasis on the bass, when you use the bass up technology, it not only ups the mids and it gives you a nice low end, but it doesn't actually distort as bad as most people think. So I would advise you to use the bass up technology in this thing to its max. This thing sounds great. Now again, going back to the sound quality, it reproduces the music so well. Like you could hear, it sounds like you're coming straight from listening to into your headphones. It really sounds nice and clean. You got your low end with that bass up. The mids are nice. The high is sort of there. You can't make it out too well, but it's not to the point where you can't hear your highs. The frequency range of the speaker honestly is a nice profile. The bass may be a little bit too overpowering, but it's not deep and punchy like most people are thinking. It's honestly a nicer bass than what I've heard. The music signature is really nice. Now, this is all good and well with one, but what happens when you add a second? Haha, you guys thought I was gonna stop there? Hell nah, I don't go small, I go all in. We got two, so you know what? Let's do another sound test with two.
Per tutta la notte mi succede spesso quando penso a te. Non avevo nulla quando urlavo forte, sei contro mio padre se non c'era che. Perché gira la testa per tutta la notte. Mi succede spesso quando penso a te. Non avevo nulla quando urlavo forte, sei contro mio padre se non c'era che. Bisogno di me, non hai tempo per me, ma se mi chiami lo trovo per te. Mentre qualche tipa guida la mia auto.
Okay, so now that you've heard both, you're probably asking, how do you get them to sync up with two? Well, this is where Soundcore comes out with their PartyCast. Now, PartyCast is basically a wireless streamer that allows the speakers to sync up into one. It'll allow you to sync up to so many different speakers. They made a ridiculous video. Honestly, guys, no disrespect, but that Linus video where he showed off the speakers, you could tell he didn't put any effort. He was literally just paid to use 100 speakers. Like, come on, Linus, put some work into it. But in all honesty, you could connect it to 100 plus speakers and they all sound in one. Now the speaker doesn't offer stereo sound, so if you were hoping you can get a stereo setup, you're not gonna get a stereo setup, but it's mono and it works nicely though, I will say. And honestly, two of these alone make the damn thing worth it. You don't even need a third or a fourth. Two of them is enough. It filled up not only my room, it filled up my living room, it filled up my kitchen, and when I took it outside to my pool desk, it filled up very, very nice. Now again, when you use two, that's where the party's really at. And that's another positive, is the music is just fun. With the lights and everything, you could literally dance to it, you could literally do anything. And honestly, I gotta say, this thing was a blast to use. Not just for listening to music, but also connecting to my smartphone, connecting to my tablet. The thing works perfectly. It's honestly a good speaker. It's versatile, it's very customizable. Now, a couple of things before I end the video. I know I sound like I'm going all over the place, guys, and I really do apologize. I will try my best to kind of detail everything so that way you don't seem too confused. But a couple of side things you need to know. Updating the firmware, there are no firmwares as of now. The way you activate PartyCast is you hold down the Bluetooth buttons in the back for 3 seconds, you gotta hold it down for 3 seconds, because if you hold it for 2 or maybe even a second, it will disconnect the speaker from any device you're using and will think it's trying to pair to another device. So make sure you're aware of that. It does support Bluetooth 5.0. It has no aptX support, but honestly, you don't really need aptX support. ADC support and other codes. Listen, I'm not too savvy on that, so what I'll do is I'll leave a link at the end of the video where you can read more about the spec sheets, the audio codes, everything you need to know. And also, one last thing, I just want to shout this out. The app is definitely useful when you have both of them. You can not only work them in PartyCast mode, but you can change the lights together at the same time when in PartyCast. So definitely keep an eye on the app, because I'm telling you, the app makes a big difference. So overall, what do I think of the Soundcore Flare 2? Well, honestly, guys, I said at the beginning of the video, these are the speakers for 2020. These are not only some of the best sounding speakers that I have used, these are some of the best speakers I've ever bought. Not only do these things sound tremendous, they sound great for $80. And considering, for the most part, that this is coming from a company that already makes good headphones, their audio is actually very good. Like, Soundcore is stepping their game. They want to make a dent, and they want to do it the right way. So by allowing yourself to make a product like this to get people into, you have already reached an audience. Now, to be fair, a lot of the reviews you see are mostly sponsored by Soundcore, so you're not going to get the full truth to an extent. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I'm just being honest. So I'm going to give you everything, and honestly, this is the truth. There are a lot of positives here. The sound quality is amazing, the light show is excellent, the battery life is surprisingly very well. I was able to go more than 12 hours with 50 to 60% volume. The PartyCast is actually very convenient, nice and quick. And also, I'm being honest, when you pair it with your smartphone, it works honestly as a nice speakerphone. It doesn't have a microphone, but it works perfectly when you're nearby, and the callers will never even know you're using this thing. My only negatives is there is no stereo mode. The PartyCast is a little intuitive, so you're gonna have to get a little used to it, because sometimes you can mess it up. I wished that there was an indicator for the PartyCast that you know you've done it right, because when you connect it, you don't necessarily know if you did it right or wrong. It says you just gotta hold it near to it. But the thing is, I would like a little enable sound, maybe like cha-ching or something, knowing that you've done it successfully. Another negative that I have with this speaker, and these are just my personal things, I kind of wish the bass was a little bit more deeper. While it is a good bass and it's not overpowering, even with the bass up technology, I kind of wished it had been a little bit more punchier. Because if you're going to make this a summer speaker where you can get the best experience, I really wish this had been a little bit more deeper. But honestly, guys, like I said, this is the speaker of 2020. This is the speaker not only to get for the summer, but this is the best speaker that I've used. It is a fun speaker, it is enjoyable, it sounds great, and for $80, I advise you to pick them up. And that's it for today's episode. So guys, that is my review of the Soundcore Flare 2. If you have any questions, any concerns at all, please hit me up in the comment section. I will answer anything and everything you need to know. Again, I apologize if this video is really, really long, so I will leave timestamps in the description and in the comment section so you can get to which part you want to get to. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, hit that dislike button. It works as well. Helps circulate my videos on YouTube. Again, thank you to Sirol for providing the music for today's sound test. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace!